عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله واللاتي تخافون نشوزهن فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع واضربوهن فإن أطعنكم فلا تبغوا عليهن سبيلا إن الله كان عليا كبيرا وإن خفتم شقاق بينهما فبعثوا حكما من أهله وحكما من أهلها إن يريدا إصلاحا يوفق الله بينهما إن الله كان عليما خبيرا صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الرجال قوامون على النساء. رجال is the plural of rajul, men. الرجال قوامون على النساء, they are caretakers over women. Qawwam is somebody who keeps things in check and order, keeps them on the right path. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Al-Rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa, men are caretakers over women. Men have been burdened with the responsibility of keeping things in check. Bima faddala Allahu ba'dhum. So in the previous ayat I read 2 days back, wala tatamannaw ma faddala Allahu bihi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that do not yearn, do not long, do not have want for things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has pre-decided. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that men have been made qawwam, or caretakers over women. Bima faddala Allahu ba'dhum. The first reason is that it's just that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given tafdeel or superiority or fadl by His grace, through His grace to some over others. So men, by the command of Allah, have been given grace over women. First reason. And this is something that sometimes we find, some people say that why is that men are superior or not superior. The question is not of superiority or inferiority, na'uzubillah. It is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made His creation. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of the two creations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making, in His perfect wisdom, has to give different responsibilities to different kinds of His creation. So animals, na'uzubillah, I shouldn't say this example, but no creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can say that why am I not the other creation? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put different kinds of capacities and different kinds of responsibilities. So similar is the case of men and women. They are the same, essentially, human beings, but among human beings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a system, and that system is that family has to run, and there has to be procreation and birth, and there has to be a process for that, and then the needs of the family are to be taken care of. Similarly, in terms of taking the care of the needs of the family, there's different kinds of responsibilities. So based on those responsibilities, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given different capacities. So you name one of them men and one of them women, it's just a difference of name. But the creation that has been named man, they have been given different responsibilities. One of their responsibility is that they are the ones who will keep things in check for the family and for the whole system. And why is this? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His grace, given them those kind of capacities. So we see, and this is accepted by science as well, secular science as well, that men have more forbearance. They do not act out of instinct as often and as quickly and sometimes as thoughtlessly as women would do. What women do has its own benefits and has its own place. But since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given more forbearance and more depth in terms of thinking to men, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made them qawwamun over nisa. So one reason is bima faddalallahu ba'dahum ala ba'd, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has graced some over others. Ba'dahum ala ba'd also hints that they are essentially the same, some among the others. So they are basically part of the same larger group. And there is no question of superiority or inferiority. وَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. The second reason is that men have this propensity to spend. Bima anfaqu min amwalihim. So the first spending that is directly hinted here meant is the spending over women in terms of their needs. In terms of their needs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put the responsibility over men. Nowhere at any stage of life has the responsibility been put over women to take care of the needs of men. For example, a sister does not have to take care of a brother. A wife does not have to take care of financial needs of their husband. A mother does not have to take care of the financial needs of their sons. So nowhere at any stage of life Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put that responsibility over women. This responsibility has been put over men. This also explains, but here in the tafsir it is written in this ayah, that why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appropriated double the share of women for every man, because they have to take care of the needs of women, and the responsibility has been put over them, and if they do not take care of that responsibility, they will be held responsible and answerable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other is that men have generally, of course specifics there can be exceptions, but men have intrinsically, they tend to spend more in good causes. They are less, generally speaking, stingy compared to generally women, speaking about women in general. Exceptions are always there, and in the explanation of this ayah is also said that this comparison is not of a specific man over a specific woman. There are women in the history of Islam, for example, us men cannot be superior to the sahabiyat of the Prophet ﷺ. It's very easy to understand. So it's not about specific man and specific woman, but on the whole, among humankind, men have been given the responsibility of keeping things in check and keeping them going in the right direction, and they have been made qawwam. And from this ayah we also learn that when women are made qawwam, when women are given the responsibility, the order of nature is reversed, and then things go in a terrible direction. So فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهِ. The righteous women, the salihat, they are qanitatun hafidhatun lil ghaibi bima hafidhallah. They are obedient and they guard the property and honor of their husband in their absence lil ghaibi bima hafidhallah, and this is through a protection given to them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this there is a superiority of women explained, that these women, a peculiar thing that has been given to them is that the responsibility of taking care of the needs of their family within the home, and to take care of the property of the husband in their absence, and to take care of the honor, which is basically to take care of their body in the absence of their husband. It is a special quality that has been particularly given to women. Bima hafidhullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a special protection to them. Therefore we see that comparatively there is less women who do not take care of their honor compared to men. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So men go astray more often than women in those terms. So bima hafidhullah, and this is all through protection given to them by Allah. And this is only possible by hafidhullah, the protection given to them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاللَّاتِي تَخَافُونَ نُشُوزَهُنَّ فَعِظُوهُنَّ وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ وَضْرِبُوهُنَّ. And from among the women who are not obedient, who are not salihat, that from those who fear from whom you fear rebellion. So from those whom you fear disobedience, فَعِظُوهُنَّ, then convince them through words, explain it to them politely, do wa'az to them, or not like a formal speech, but talk to them and explain it to them in words. فَعِظُوهُنَّ, and that's the first thing. Whenever there is a rift, whenever there is disagreement between man and wife, this is the first thing, that softly, politely, through wisdom, through your words, try to put sense into the situation. This is the first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned. وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ. If that does not work, if they are just not willing to come to terms with it, and they are, if your wife or your woman is bent on disobedience and not coming to sense, the next step is وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ, leave them apart in their beds. So do not go near them in their beds. That should take care of the situation. And this is very practical advice, that try to explain the situation to them politely. If that does not work, stay away from them in bed, separate your beds. But again, ulama have explained, وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ, not fil buyut. Do not separate their houses. Do not send them to another home. Do not send them back to their family. Do not put them in a different house, or stay away, or don't go to that house. Stay in that same house, but different bed. Don't go to them. And this is a stupidity that many men do, as my Shaykh explains, that to take care of these things, you create a separation of premise. The separation of premise should not be there, the separation of bed should be there. وَضْرِبُوهُنْ, if that does not work, then comes the stage of physical punishment. And the Prophet ﷺ has explained that a noble person does not do that. Although it is allowed in the Quran, but a noble person does not do that. The words of the Prophet ﷺ. And there's limits and constraints put on that. That physically, if a punishment is given, it cannot be so severe that it leaves even the tiniest mark on the body, or it cannot be on the face. So those things. And then the best thing is, the Prophet ﷺ has said that a kareem person, a noble person, does not do it, and none of the Anbiya have done it. The background of this ayah is that there was one Sahabiya whose husband, in a disagreement, right away slapped her. And she complained about this to her father, and her father brought the case to the Prophet ﷺ. And in the beginning of the Islam, Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, if I remember correct, has narrated that it was strictly forbidden, this physical punishment. It was strictly forbidden. So based on that, the Prophet ﷺ gave fatwa that with the strength, with the force her husband has slapped her, she has the right to slap him back. And then he was made, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this ayah that as a last resort, this is permissible. And Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha said that in the beginning, the commandment was given that there will be no physical punishment. But then us women started crossing the boundary. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha herself is saying that us women started to cross the boundary, and then Allah became out of control. Started to become out of control. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, gave this command again. Allowed as a last resort a physical punishment. فَإِنْ أَطَعْنَكُمْ, again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if they come back to your obedience, if they obey you, فَلَا تَبْغُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ سَبِيلًا, do not keep on going after them. فَلَا تَبْغُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ سَبِيلًا, do not try to keep on seeking a way against them, that by this excuse or by that excuse, you keep on bothering them, or you keep on reprimanding them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيًّا كَبِيرًا, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the highest and the greatest. So the rights that you have over women, remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a much higher and much greater right over you. If you keep on going after them after they have become obedient to you, then remind yourself of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has the highest right and He has the greatest right, and He can start going after you. We'll take 2 more minutes to do the next ayah, inshallah, because it's very related and connected. It will be hard to do it on separate. فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا, then if you fear, if you fear a split between them. So after these three methods have been used, فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا, you feel that there's going to be a split between the spouses. فَابْعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا, send an arbitrator. Hakam, the conditions of hakam are explained in books of fiqh, but essentially it should be understood that somebody who's being sent as an arbitrator, so there has to be an arbitrator from the man's side, man's family, a respected person who has understanding of these affairs and who has true intention at their heart. This is very important. In our setup, hakam are basically going in with a bad intention, with an evil intention, of furthering the split. The hakam has to be knowledgeable, respected, and have a good intention. This is mentioned. So hakaman min ahlihi wa hakaman min ahliha, from the man's family and from the family of the woman. إِن يُرِيدَا إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا, if they have the intention of bringing them together, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring them together. If the hakam has the intention of bringing them together, يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will create harmony between them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا خَبِيرًا, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge of everything. So do not, the people who are going, if they have the intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is deep within their heart. If they are going with a good intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring forth. The other thing that comes is that in the time of Ali radiallahu anh, there was such a situation. So there was hakam appointed from both sides. Ali radiallahu anh demanded from the man and wife to give this hakam full authority, that whatever they decide, the man and wife are going to abide by that. So some fuqaha have gone with the opinion that this hakam, there's another condition, there's a fourth condition, that this hakam should also be given full authority. Imam Azam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, may Allah bless him, from this very situation he has extracted that it is not necessary to give them a full authority, because if that was the requirement of Sharia, this is the time of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh, everyone should have known and it should have become a norm. But if Sayyidina Ali is having to specifically mention and ask them, this means that this was not the norm of Sharia, and Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh was demanded as a specific case. So therefore, you understood this, right? So therefore, it is, according to Imam Azam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, in Ahnaf it is not necessary that this hakam should have full authority, and the order of the hakam has to be fully obeyed no matter what. So there may be a situation when hakam say that with all effort we cannot find a way of reconciliation and it's best for them to separate out. So if you gave them full authority, then it will become incumbent that you follow their order and separate out. Imam Azam Hanifa rahimahullah said that if a hakam, it is not 100% incumbent upon man and wife to follow the order of the hakam or whatever they decide. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us peace in our life and happiness and comfort, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the ones who bring the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our life. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن الذي أهلك وخاصتك صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.